Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The glory of Srimad Bhagavata Mahapurana. Extracted from the Padma Purana. Discourse 1. A dialogue between Narada and Bhakti in a living form. We sing the glory of Sri Krishna, who is all truth, all conscious, and all bliss, who is responsible for the creation, sustenance, and destruction of the universe, and who puts an end to the threefold agony, viz. 1. That having its origin in one's own body or mind, 2. That inflicted by other creatures, and 3. That having its source in natural calamities. When Vedavyasa, who was born in an island, saw his son Suka going away all alone with the intention of leading the life of recluse, even though the latter had not yet been invested with the sacred thread and accordingly had no occasion to perform any secular or religious duties, the sage felt distress at the thought of his separation from the latter and called out, "Hello, my son!" At that time, it was the trees that responded on his behalf, filled as they were by his presence. "I bow to that juvenile sage Suka, who being one with the universal spirit has access to the hearts of all created beings." Bowing to Suta of exalted wisdom, seated in Naimisharanya Saunaka, who was clever at enjoying the flavor of the nectar-like stories connected with the Lord, said, Saunaka submitted, "O Suta, possessing, as you do, the splendor of millions of suns capable of completely dispelling the darkness of ignorance, kindly narrate to us the best part of the Lord's stories, which may prove as nectar to my ears. How does the great power of discernment, which is obtained from devotion, spiritual enlightenment, and dispassion, grow, and how are delusion and infatuation got rid of by the devotees of Lord Vishnu? In this terrible age of Kali, living being, men have mostly acquired a diabolical nature. What is the royal road of their purification, assailed as they are by the fivefold afflictions in the form of nuisance, egotisms, likes, dislikes, and fear of death? Pray, point out to us now the means which may ever prove to be the best of all expedients conducive to blessedness, the most purifying of all purifying agencies, and which may lead to the attainment of Sri Krishna. The Chintamani, a gem reputed to be capable of granting all one's desires, can provide only worldly enjoyment, and the wish-yielding tree of the gods, the riches of heaven. A worthy preceptor, however, when pleased, is capable of granting the title of attained Vaikuntha, the realm of Vishnu, hard to win for the yogis. Suta replied, Saunaka, surely there is love in your heart for the Lord, and therefore after due deliberation I shall disclose that which is the essence of all established conclusions. Nay, I shall tell you that which is capable of dispelling the fear of transmigration, is prone to swell the tide of devotion, and conducive to the gratification of Sri Krishna. Pray, hear it attentively. The whole scripture known by the name of Srimad Bhagavatam was expounded in this age of Kali by the sage Shuka with the object of completely destroying the fear of being caught in the jaws of the serpent of time. There is no means other than this conducive to the purification of the mind. One gets to hear Srimad Bhagavatam only when there is virtue earned in one's past lives. When the sage Suka had taken his seat in the assembly of sages in order to give his exposition of the holy scripture to the royal sage Parikshit, the gods arrived there in a body actually holding a pitcher full of nectar. Bowing to Sri Shuka, the gods, who were all skilled in accomplishing their end, submitted, accepting this nectar brought by us. Pray, vouchsafe to us and exchange the nectar of your discourse. When this bartered to us in exchange the nectar of your discourse, when this bartered to mate, let the celestial beverage be quaffed by the king Parikshit, while we shall all drink deep of the nectar in the shape of Srimad Bhagavatam. The beverage of the gods and an exposition of this holy scripture bear no comparison with each other in this world, and any more than a piece of glass and the precious gem can be likened to each other. Thinking thus, Sri Shuka, to whom the knowledge of Brahma stood revealed, laughed away the gods on the occasion. So the tradition goes. Knowing them to be anything but devotees, he didn't confer on them the nectar in the shape of an exposition of the Holy Scripture. Thus, the story of Srimad Bhagavatam is a rarity even for the gods. In the former days, even Brahma, the creator, was astonished to witness Parikshit's emancipation. Then, that way, as a result of hearing an exposition of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the Satyaloka, his own realm Brahma, the birthless god, set up a balance and weighed on it the various courses of spiritual discipline. And lo, all other proved too small, while this one Srimad Bhagavatam proved superior in point of weight. All the host seers experienced great wonder on the occasion. They came to regard to holy book of Srimad Bhagavatam as an embodiment of the Lord himself in the Kali age and capable of conferring the reward of speedy access to Vaikuntha, the divine realm of Lord Vishnu, by merely being read or heard, and heard from beginning to end in a week's time. It definitely bestows emancipation. Formerly it was made the subject of discourse to Narada by the kind-hearted sages Sanaka and others. Though the story of Srimad Bhagavatam had already been heard by Narada, the celestial sage. Through this relationship with Brahma, the procedure of hearing it in a week's time was disclosed to him by the above mentioned sons of Brahma. Saunaka said, how did Narada, who is above all worldly controversies and does not remain fixed at one place, develop a taste for hearing the procedure of listening to the story of Srimad Bhagavatam, and where did he meet them? Saunaka and his three brothers. Shuta resumed, Here shall I narrate to you an episode connected with devotion, which was related to me in private by Sri Shuka himself, accounting me in developed discipline. Once upon a time, it is said, the above named four sinless sages arrived in Badrikasrama for the sake of Satsanga, fellowship with saints. There they came across Narada. The sons of Brahma said, O self-realized saint, why have you pulled a long face? How is it that you are afflicted with worry? Where are you proceeding to in haste, and there have you come from? You appear lost at this moment like a man whose wealth is gone. There is, however, not becoming of you who have given up all attachment. Please point out the reason. Narada submitted, knowing the earth to be the best of all spheres. As a matter of fact, I came here and visited Pushkara and Prayaga, Kashi and Godavari, Nasika, Haridwara, Kurukshetra, Prayaga, Kashi and Godavari. Shatubandha, Rameshwaram, through wandering hither and thither in these and other places of pilgrimage, I found nowhere such a joy as would cause satisfaction to my mind. This earth stands assailed at present by the age of Kali, the helpmate of unrighteousness. There is no truthfulness, access is purity of body and mind and compassion, nor is liberality to the poor. The people are wretched and engaged only in filling their bellies. They make false statement. They are indeed slow, extremely dull-witted, the of poor luck and afflicted. Those who pose as saints are constantly engaged in preaching false doctrines. Those who have apparently renounced the world are rich in worldly possession and have become family men. Women rule the house. Brothers of the one's wife are one of counselors. Want to greet people, sells their daughters. Hermitages, places of pilgrimage, and rivers are controlled by foreigners, and temples here have been destroyed in large numbers by those wicked people. There is no yogi nor one who has attained perfection, no enlightened soul, and no man performing righteous deeds. All spiritual discipline stands consumed by the wildfire of Kali Yuga. In this age of Kali, people at large take to the vacation of selling food grains. Brahmins sell the knowledge of the Vedas, and women make their living by prostitution. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching.